introducing. I came from Taiwan, and I'm now a graduate student in University of Arizona. So just like what Dr. Tronstad was saying, I did a research on marketing analysis of the viability of local food centers. So in the Prescott area, they have a really well-established farmers market, but they wanted to have like a more sustainable marketplace that happens from Monday to Friday or even every day in the week, so that they can gain more profits, and they can also cooperate with education. They want to do like an education center with the food hall. So this is what they want us to do a research for them to see if they can still keep the farmers market, but also create a local food center. Would that be successful or not? They wanted to know what consumer were thinking. So just like what Dr. Tronstad said, not all the results from Prescott is applicable in forums, because the composition of the populations are really different. But we just hope to share with you guys what we found, because we found something very surprising. It might be like really surprising for you guys as small producers. So first of all, I just want to mention this topic. Why do we actually care about direct sales? So this is a map. This is actually from the latest census. It's updated from 2017 census. They just published like several months ago. So from this map, I'm doing is the annual direct-to-consumer food sale per capita. So when you think about direct-to-food sales, like farmers market, like on-farm shopping, you'll think about the West Coast, East Coast, because they have a lot of population. So of course the values there were really high. But if you calculate into per capita, those rural counties actually pop up. Like this is in New Mexico. I forgot the name of the county, and this is in Nebraska, actually. So you won't figure out that, wow, those rural counties, they actually spend this amount of money per year, per capita on direct sales. It's probably they don't really have like the supermarkets there, or they don't have access to super centers, so they just go to the farm and buy it. So
Is
yeah.
it a cultural phenomenon where people want to buy organics or natural food only in the rural areas?
I think one thing is they don't have access. Like for example, they have to drive 10 miles to go to Walmart or Costco, and I would just directly buy it from my neighbor. Yeah, so it's more about convenience as what we've been surveying for, but it could be very different from state to state, because in Arizona, sometimes the price in farmers market can be cheaper than supermarket. That's very surprising, because the Prescott farmers market, they did like price checking every single season, but that doesn't happen in every single state. So it really depends on location, where you are, or who are the consumer. Yeah, so I can't say firmly about across the country what consumer were thinking. And this one is, because again, just see the value is really unfair, because West Coast, East Coast, every time we stand up. So we do is the direct to consumer sale over the total ag sales. We wanted to see the percentage of direct to consumer sales over the entire ag sales. And it's actually Texas or Wisconsin and in Iowa, there are some counties there pop up. So it just means that 7% out of the 7% of their total ag sales is come from direct to consumer sales in that county. So we just want to mention about this is because direct to consumer sales is very crucial for even rural county. Although the value is not that much, but if you see per capita or per county, it does pop up. So again, who cares? This is just, I put this is just because you can find this data online. It's just showing in average, annually, people spend 7% of food at home, like grocery things. But thinking about this is the whole year. A lot of spending goes to housing or your auto bill. But thinking about per month bill, actually you spend a lot, consumers spend a lot on the food at home. And that's a huge pie, and we're figuring out like how to catch those pie, how to catch more share on those pie. And one thing about the reasons that we did this consumer study, again, there's so many consumer studies, but one thing we found interesting is that the primary shoppers for groceries are changing. It used to be women are the primary shopper. 90% or even higher were women for primary shopper. But now you can see this is a study from Nielsen, and from 2004 and 2010, males are actually increasing in every single sector. So there are more and more co-shopper. It's not like women are primary shopper for grocery. Now males are also going out and shopping, but what female bought and what male bought are very, very different. So that's one of the reasons that we want to do this study, because we wanted to also capture what males would like to purchase, what kind of attribute they like. Yeah, if you have any question or any, I'm not like very, you guys are probably know better than me, so if you have any question or you think like, no, I disagree, just let me know. This is another one that focus on Arizona. So this is from USDA, they do 5-year ag census. So if you see this, you can see that for direct sales, this is total sales, this is direct sales. So total ag sales increased a little bit from 2012 to 2017, but the direct sales number jumped like this. But I have to add, this is a crazy number, but it's just because USDA started to put the value-added product into direct sales. So for example, in the past, if you go to like an apple farm, you pick the apple, that's called direct sale. But apple pie is not called direct sale. But now they included like apple pie as a direct sale. That's why the number jumped up. But the thing I want to focus on is how the percentage in Arizona for the direct sale have increased. So in 2012, the direct sales over the total sale in Arizona is only 3.5%. But in 2017, it jumped up to 16%. So it means that 16% of the ag sales in Arizona are coming from direct to consumer sales.
That's not Amazon house delivery.
Yeah.
Is that Amazon, do you lump in Amazon home delivery in that? Or Walmart home delivery in that? Or that's separate?
I actually don't know. This is a good question I should ask. But in terms of the definition, they do consider online to the direct sale, but for Amazon, they're intermediate, so I don't think they calculate them as a direct to consumer sale. It's more like direct from small producer to, or like any producer to consumer, that without any intermediate would call direct to consumer. So even online, because you can see 18% now, a lot, when we do the survey to the small producer, a lot of them did say that they started to sell from Amazon, but I think how they calculate it, these are all estimate value, because I doubt USDA have the exact value. Direct to consumer sale is very hard to check. So these are more estimate value, so that's why I like to see percentage. I just want to emphasize on that direct sales is growing in Arizona. And the other thing I just want to kind of mention, because I'm going to share with the result of how people think about local food standard. So I want to make like a small definition about what's local food standard in our study. So food hub is like they just gathering small producer and then they connect with the the consumer. But for the local food standard that Prescott we're thinking is they want to do more, a little bit like they want to add education. They want to have like an office for a cooperative extension there, and then consumer can come in and gather information, not just shop. And they also wanted kind of just build out the supply chain. They wanted to make a linkage from the producer to also like, they want to have like a commercial kitchen and then link it to the local restaurant. So they want to do a little bit more. Okay, so I just want to share because I heard that in Florence area, people were thinking about having like a food hub as well. So these are some of the successful co-op. This one is the Great Basins Community Co-op. So they have started from 2005 in Reno, Nevada. They started with like a buyer clubs, and now they have been growing. They have a shop, regular shop, and also they would create some like this kind of marketing things like what grocery store or supermarket did. So this, if you're interested in join maybe future in the food hub for Florence, this would be some good example to check out. It's called the Grades Benson Community. So this is like their emphasis. They want to increase the community access to affordable food, sustainable. Yeah, I think my voice is great enough. Everyone can hear me?
Yeah.
Good, okay, thank you. Yeah, so they started with this. This is, you can check it out. They do a really good website. And this is just their value. And the other one that is very, very successful is in New Mexico. It's the very bad with Spanish, Montaña. Okay, cool. This one has existed for a long time. They started in 1976, and they actually have a lot of stores set up. They have already developed into a more like grocery chain store in New Mexico area. But they have a really good story, and they also provide education. They provide programs to farmers directly from their co-op, and they also do consumer education, like they do like infograph or something. It's really cool. I'm not sure about any plans going on here or something like that, but this would be definitely things to check out how they do, and they do provide lots of farming education information on their sites. Yeah, so for this study's background, we mainly just want to find can farmers market, FM's farmers market, and the local food center coexist in Prescott area? Will they be competing with each other? I think they would be, but it's really good to show it on the number. Would they actually be competing with each other? And the other question we were interested in is that when we first chat to the farmers market group, they say we know our consumer. They do know the consumer, but if they wanted to have a local food center, they needed a larger consumer base, but they actually don't know what consumer at large wants. So that's one of the reasons we're doing this study. We were trying to see what consumer at large wants, because those consumers who shop in farmers market are really different from those who do not shop in farmers market. And we are mainly interested in knowing what others are thinking. And the other thing is, where are the competitors? As the grocery store, the competitor, a supermarket, or a supercenter? We are interested in this. And the other is that what kind of shopping environments does consumer desire? Like, do they want just lower price, or they actually value organic? They value freshness, or they value like store attribute, like free sample. So we want to figure out that. And the other is that this consumer really like the concept of local, because a lot of time in the past we would think like, yes, for sure, I like local. But I see my purchasing, I barely bought any local food. I just go to like Walmart, and I bet none of them. I know I see that the foreign graduate student, Walmart is very close to my house. So actually, if you ask me, I would say for sure I buy local, but in fact I'm not. So we wanted to see, actually to ask where do consumers shop, and to analyze if they are actually buy local. Because I bet 90% of the people would say I support local, I buy local, but in fact a lot of them are not buying from local. Yeah, so this is just some demographic comparisons. So for Yavapai County, just like what Dr. Chongsa was saying earlier, is a really retired county. So the annual income is actually much lower than the national or Arizona average. It's just because a lot of people probably don't see their retirement income as an income. So later on we will expand that we actually didn't ask them how much their income is, instead we asked them how much living expenditure they're spending for. And it's you can see that they have fewer child in the household, and they have really high education. It's just a lot of Californians people retire and move to Prescott area. So now I put Pano counties and Florence here, and you can see a little bit. It's much younger than Florence and than Yavapai. So it's probably some of the things might be different. So we're just sharing some of what we found in Prescott, so it might not entirely align to what's going on in Florence. Okay, so this is just a map. I guess everyone's more familiar, but for first time I was doing Prescott, I was like, what does it exactly looks like? I don't even know it, so I want to kind of visualize it. So I just map all the counties here. So I roughly count that in the Yavapai County, there is around 30 food shopping outlets, including like Fry's, Trader Joe's, or Walmart. In Prescott area, it's like around 10 outlets. So it's like in Yavapai County, 7,000 of people share one food shopping outlets. It's roughly counting. I'm not really counting how many people actually shop in the store. And in Prescott area, it's like 4,200. So there's still chances or opportunity to create local food center. They still have not grown to their max capacity on the food shopping outlets. So I just want to share, this is how Prescott Farmers Market looks like. This one, Whipstone Farm, is the biggest vendors in the Prescott Farmers Market. They have square machine. They're pretty like a business, a very well organized business. They have huge production. But the rest of them have like smaller production. But they have around 30 to 40 or 50 vendors join every Saturday morning. So they already have a really, really good established market, but they wanted to expand. So the consumer study we did is we collected data from 2017 October to 2018, and because any consumer can be their potential consumers in the local food center, so our focus is not just knowing what existing consumer think. So we actually go out to like coffee shop, church, other grocery store, and to actually hand out the paper survey to ask people what they think. And also we distribute the survey online. And it was very surprising that we got 875 responses online. I don't even think like people, because our survey this is a very simple version. Our survey is 2 full page. It takes at least 10 minutes to write it on. So we're very, we think for Prescott area, the community is very engaging. Because we did check their GPS online, and they're all located in Prescott area. So they're not like overseas or weird people filling out this, but they do fill out. And we have a drawing, so we do ask them to leave their name and email, and there's no replicants. So it was very surprising to me to get this big amounts of numbers of people actually fill in online. But it's okay. But that's kind of showing that people now interact more online. Because when I was doing research on this one, I find it out that they have on their Instagram accounts, people like interacted. They post things every single day, 2 or 3 posts, and 100 or more people like it. So 100 or more people is a really good amount of people actually